Awesome. Hi, everyone. Without further ado, I just want to welcome everyone back to the expert session where we invite an expert to speak about topics related to digital marketing and how to attract your target audience online. And so today we have a very special guest, Jono, and he will be talking to us all about creating Facebook groups. So I know some of us like we don't really think about creating Facebook groups when we have our own blogs or own small business because like we think about all the challenges like who's going to join our group, what are we going to post in the group. And so without further ado, I'm going to let Jono introduce himself, tell us what you do and how you have grown your Facebook group to be such a successful community.
Yes, I would love to. I just plugged in my new. Just checking. Can you hear me, Isabel?
Yeah, now this is much clearer.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I thought the sound will be better, and I also thought the picture will be better because this covers half of my face and body. It would be a better thing for everyone else.
Yeah.
So yes,
Cool.
Facebook groups. All right. So I'll summarize it because I run a few different businesses, right? So I'll just explain those, and then we'll get into the Facebook side of things. So I run one business called Fitness Education Online, where I run online courses for fitness professionals to help them grow their fitness business, right? That's one business there. And I do that via my online courses. Very successful business, generates about $1 million a year in online courses, a really big Facebook group over there as well, about 15,000 members. Now, what I've also done is create another business for the course creator side of things, because a lot of people started to be like, Jono, how are you doing this business? How are you doing this online course stuff? That sort of stuff there. So I started a new business, the Course Creator Community. And I've also got a Facebook group associated with that business as well. That one's got about 5,000 members in it. So not as big as the 15,000 one, but the new group's only been around about a year. So 5,000 members in about a year. I'm pretty proud of that effort there. So that's in a nutshell the two different businesses that I run.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, maybe you can give us a little bit insight on why you decided to start a Facebook group and maybe some benefits on having a group on Facebook if someone's thinking about it, or if it's suitable for them to start a group, if it makes sense at all.
100%. So the biggest advantage to the Facebook group is community. There's many different advantages, and I'll get into all of them. But the biggest advantage is community, because most other social media platforms out there are all very me, right? If I start a YouTube channel, it's about me. If I start an Instagram account, it's about me, right? If I start a blog, it's about me, right? A Facebook group is more about the community. That's where the value is there, the community. So the reason why I think it's so powerful is community is one of the most powerful forces in humanity, right? Actually, I'll ask you a question, Isabel. Whereabouts are you based in the world?
I am now in Cusco. I just checked into my little resort. So
in where?
Yeah, in Cusco, where? Peru.
Peru. Okay, there we go. All right.
Yes.
So let's say you're in Peru or anywhere in the world. If you stuff up in life and you commit a crime, where do they send you?
To jail.
To jail. Yep. Cool. Now, if you stuff up in jail, where do they send you? So, and let's put jail in perspective. There's murderers, there's rapists, there's criminals, right? If you stuff up in jail, where do they send you?
Where else can they send me? To a locked cell?
Yeah, solitary confinement, right? The worst punishment we can give to humanity is to get rid of all community and lock them in a room on their own. It's better. We would prefer to hang around in jail with murderers and rapists than we would in our own in a room, right? So that puts into perspective how powerful community is. So that's the advantage there to a Facebook group over any other platform, right? The reason why I like it personally is it means I can be a little bit lazy. Let's say I've got an Instagram account. I got to post every day. I got a YouTube account. I got to post at least every week, but then I got to create the video, think of the video, do the thumbnail, do the description, record the video, do the editing, so much going on. With a Facebook group, it's not all about me. It's actually about the community. And that's the way I look at it, right? I cannot post for a month, right? My group will still be there. I will still make sales because there's still people coming in. There's still other people commenting and asking questions, and I can reply to those. So because of that community aspect, it's just like I can do less work and still make sales. So that's the biggest advantage of it. Do you want me to keep going, or you've got some questions you want to jump in?
Yeah, I think what you say, that's like the ideal situation, but I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but I do have this question. Like, if you've already set up your group and you have members in there, how do you encourage them to engage with one another rather than just being a group that's stagnant, you know?
Yes, awesome question. So, and we can go two ways here. Do we want to speak about growing the group at all, or should we just go straight into engagement?
Yeah, let's go step by step. So we have discovered the benefits of having a group. It's passive, people are able to interact with one another, they all have a common goal. And then how does that benefit your business? Or how would you advise someone whether or not they should set one up?
Yes, good question. All right, cool. Let me think how to best answer that. All right. So it depends on what your strategy is, right? The benefit from a Facebook group is kind of threefold. It's a way to get leads in, right? Because people find you via the Facebook group, and we'll speak about that. You can then get the email address, or even if you don't, they're still in your network there. So it's a way to build your audience. That's probably where I would start, right? If you don't have a system to build your audience, a Facebook group is a really good way to do it. On top of that, it's a really good way to keep your followers engaged, because the advantage of a Facebook group is like I can post in there multiple times a week, right? Multiple times a day if I want. If I was sending you multiple emails a day, you're probably going to unsubscribe before too long, right?
Yeah.
I can also kind of get my personality across as well, and that's similar with other things as well. But you can also make sales from it as well. So I think, let me think of how to best answer this. It's kind of like, if you're getting enough leads already, don't worry about a Facebook group. You don't need it, right? If you're not getting enough leads, hey, Facebook group could be an option there. Same thing with sales. If you're getting enough leads and you're getting enough sales, don't worry about a Facebook group. You don't need it, right? But if you're getting enough leads and you're not making enough sales, maybe Facebook group could help you there as well. So that's probably the best answer I can give there. It's like not something everyone needs to have, right? If you've already got leads coming in, you've already got sales coming in, don't worry about it. It's going to be a hassle for you, right? But if you don't have as many of those as you'd like, then Facebook group could be something to look at.
Good point. I am sold. So tell me, if they have no clue about what Facebook group is and how to manage it, how do you start attracting people to your group once you've set it up?
Good question. So I wouldn't set up the group yet. I would build my following to a certain extent to start with. A number I like to work with as an indication, doesn't have to be perfect, but I like about 100. I wouldn't recommend starting a Facebook group until you've got about 100 people you could invite on day one, for many different reasons. But even if we just look at it logically, if you start a Facebook group with, less than 100 people, it can be hard to get engagement in there, right? It's like you post something, half the people aren't going to see it, half the people don't check Facebook, and then some of the people aren't going to comment because they just never do or whatever, So if it's super small, it's hard to get engagement. And then the less engagement, the less value, because it's kind of like, why would I post something in a Facebook group that's not going to get any engagement if I can post it in another one and it is going to get engagement? It doesn't make sense to post in the lower one, right? And then also just in terms of attraction as well, if I want to connect with a certain amount of people and there's 20 people in one group and there's 300 in another, well, I'm going to join the 21. There's 20 people. Nothing's going to go on there, So it helps if you have a bunch of people you can invite from the start. And then that also helps with the algorithm, because you started off with a bang. There's 100 people in there day one. People are introducing themselves. They're commenting. They're bringing their friends in, and then that's going to lead to more people finding the group, and it flows on from there. So I recommend and we'll speak about how to get those first 100 in a sec. But essentially the way you want to look at it is you get those first 100 in there. You then want to make sure the group is really engaged and interactive, because what will happen eventually is then, because the first 100's pretty much got to be you inviting them in there, right? Even up to the first about 500. But there's a sweet spot around that kind of 500 to 1,000 mark where the Facebook algorithm just takes over. And it's less of you having to manually invite people in there, and it's Facebook showing it to people. The person types something in, your group comes up the top. The person joins a similar group, it comes up as suggested, right? So we're talking about the overall arching side of things. Your first members, it needs to be you doing the hard work, getting them in, right? But your end goal is not to always do that. You want the Facebook algorithm to do that stuff for you. But to do that, you need to get a heap of engagement in there, and you need to get those first few people in there. And we'll cover that in a bit later. I want to get to some specific strategies to find your first 100. But does this make sense in theory so far, Isabel?
Yes, definitely. I would love to hear more about how you get started with all that.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So, and with this, there's no right or wrong, but what you need is one kind of lead generation system. You need to have, and it can be anything. And I'll give what I recommend most people start off with, but like it can be anything. It can be a blog, it can be a YouTube channel, it can be a podcast, it can be Instagram, right? Whatever it may be, you need to have some system to funnel people from that platform over into your Facebook group. And the question there might be like, well, hold on, Jono, if I've got to use this other thing anyway, why do I even need the Facebook group? Well, the Facebook group will amplify it, because the whole goal of the Facebook group is if you get 20 people in there manually, Facebook will also show it to another 20 people. So now you got 40 people in there, right? And if most people that start a Facebook group usually don't have a successful other platform, right? If they do, it's pretty easy. If you're a podcaster, great. Just tell your listeners, hey, I got this Facebook group, and they'll go and join it, right? So I'm assuming that you don't have anything, right? There's no blogs, no YouTube channels, no podcasts, nothing like that. The easiest way is to leverage off Facebook. So what you would want to do, and I'll just give a few simple strategies here. Like first, you would want to join similar Facebook groups where your ideal clients hang out, not to poach members from there or anything like that. It's just simply to interact and to give value, right? Because a few things are going to happen by doing that. Firstly, you're going to see what kind of questions people ask. You're going to see how the group runs. You're going to see what the rules are. You're going to see all that sort of stuff there, right? You also want to interact in there. And you're doing it to be a good member of the community. You're not doing it so that someone joins your Facebook group. You don't even have a Facebook group yet, right? You're doing it just to be a good member of the community, right? You're answering questions, you're helping people out. Ideally, you've also optimized your personal profile as well, which kind of says what you do. Let's say you're an SEO expert, you've optimized your profile, it says SEO expert, click here, you get the freebie, the banner's changed, all of that sort of stuff there, right? If Isabel's then in a similar Facebook group where our clients hang out, great. She can answer questions in there. She can help people out. People are probably going to add her as a friend as is. She can start a conversation. What do you do? Oh, you do that. That's great. Right. And she can build her list up that way of 100 people. If you just did that, it will take you forever, because what are you going to get? 1 or 2 friend requests a week. It's going to take you all year to get 100 people. So to speed it up, you ideally want to find groups that also allow you to promote. There's certain groups that allow you to promote, some at certain times, some on certain days, some only in certain threads. You want to find the most active of those groups there. Might just be 5 of them. You might say, right, Monday I can promote in this group, Tuesday in this group, Wednesday in this group, Thursday in this group, Friday in this group, right? You'll promote some sort of freebie in there. Even when you've got the group, you don't want to promote the group directly because it's just a bit too much of a clash, right? You don't want to go in someone else's group and say, hey, join my group. It's not a nice way to do it, right?
Yeah.
But you could go into a group and say on a day that they allow freebies, let's say every Friday, it's Freebie Friday, and you've got a free lead magnet. You can go into that group, hey, people, here's my freebie. Comment below if you want it, right? And there's many different variations of this, but just to simplify it for the listeners, what you could do from there, whoever comments below and says, yes, I want it, great, like that comment, send that person a friend request, send that person a direct message and say, hey, I see you wanted my free thing. Is it okay if I send it on here? And then reply to their comment and say, hey, just sent you a DM, just double check you got it. That person accepts the friend request. They'll reply to the DM, say, yes, send it on here. Great. You send them over the free thing, ideally with an email opt-in as well. Okay. Now you're sort of building 2 things. You're building your personal profile, right? And you're also building your email list as well. Now, if you do that efficiently for about a month, that's 100 easy. You might get whatever, 50 people accept your friend request, 50 people on the email list. You obviously record these as well. So when you open up your group, you can send out an email. You can go back and direct message the people that you've been liaising with and essentially say, hey, Isabel, just letting you know, I've started this Facebook group. Would love to have you in there. Click here to join. Okay. That's how I would get those first 100 people in there. Also from there, you've now got a little bit of a system, right? You can keep that going and you'll continuously get more people in your Facebook group, and you'll also get the Facebook algorithm working for you as well. Ideally, you've named your group something which is SEO optimized as well. So something that people are typing in, or if it pops up in their feed, they see it. And from those 3 things there, that's enough to get started. There's obviously further things you can do to accentuate it. But if you just did that, if you just spent a month building your list on Facebook, you've now got a strategy to get people in. You get your first 100, great, invite them off the start. You've got 100 people in there in the start. You keep the strategy going to get more new people in there. You've also got people typing it in Facebook and searching it SEO wise, and you've got the Facebook algorithm suggesting it to people that are in similar groups.
Yeah, wow, that works really nice. I do have a question though before we jump on to managing the whole Facebook group that you have created. I know I am in one of your groups, and you are doing an excellent job with allowing people to do their self-promotion and also helping other people grow their email list as well, which is why I really enjoy being in your group. Is there a way to find where all these groups are, like groups that allow promotion, or you just have to manually, go in and experiment with different groups and join and see how it goes?
Good question. So yeah, me personally, I just manually went in and joined. And then it's just kind of like a community. I meet other people and they tell me to join this group or they join that group, So yeah. And it's always
good to know that
changing.
you have to do manual work as well. It's not just an automated funnel.
Exactly.
And all that.
Exactly.
And so with everyone that you DM or private message, do you add them as friend, or like why do you have to do that, or is it necessary to add them as friends?
Cool. So now I don't, because I don't even use those strategies now that my group's at a certain stage, right? My virtual assistant does that stuff for me. At the start, you don't have to add as a friend. The advantage to adding as a friend is they're kind of like on another list as well, right? So it's like if someone's a friend, now I could make a post on my personal Facebook profile as well. So it's just another way to contact. You don't have to. Ideally, you want to keep a Google sheet as well at the start. So when you open your group, you've got a list of 100 people because you'll forget otherwise. No way are you going to remember someone that you DM'd a month ago if you're doing this regularly every day and commenting and DMing and whatnot. So you don't have to add as a friend. It's just another way for that person to see your content at the start.
Yeah, so having a Google Sheet helps keep everything organized and make sure you don't leave anyone out. And if you have anything new to launch or to share, you can always go back to the list and privately message each one of them.
Exactly. Yep.
Cool. Yeah, really personal. It really lends a personal touch. I like it. Cool. Okay, let's move on to the next stage. Now you've got your first 100 people in your group. How do you manage them? How do you get them to love the group?
Awesome. Yes. So my focus here is to get people commenting more than me, like people posting and commenting more than me. Because if it's just me doing all the posts and comment, I don't even need the group. I could just use my personal profile for that, right? So I want to get as much other people commenting and liking as possible. And that's what kind of builds the culture and the community. The first thing you want to do is have can I swear on this or no?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. It's a really casual group.
Awesome. You want to have a no dickheads policy. Okay. So if anyone is a dickhead, I just remove them from the group straight away. Because if someone makes a post and someone insults them in the comment section, that person's never posting again. They're not posting to get abused. So I want to make sure I get all those people out of the group to start with. The other thing I've actually got 9 specific strategies that I use to make sure that my group is engaged. I'll give a couple examples. The philosophy here is the group doesn't just get engaged on its own. It doesn't. Not at the start anyway. Now I don't need to use these as much because the culture of my group is in place. But at the start, I was like, right, I can't have a dead Facebook group. These are the 9 things I'm going to do to ensure that there's engagement. And I'll just share a couple of simple ones here. The easiest one is the new members. Any new member that joins the group, I send them a DM. Hey, Isabel, welcome to the Course Creator Community Facebook group. Just letting you know, all new members get a free copy of this thing here. Is it okay if I send it on here? All right. Maybe you reply, maybe you don't. Either way, right? Let's just say you reply. Great. Here's the free thing, Isabella. What is it you do, by the way? Oh, I'm an SEO person. Oh, that's great. How's the course going? I'm in the process, yada, 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 yada. Okay, cool. Hey, I'm here if you need anything. Hey, by the way, feel free to make a post in the Facebook group. Introduce yourself. Hey, you might even pick up an SEO client or 2, right? So that way there, every new member that's going in the group is also making a Facebook post. And I also help them craft their message in a subtle way so that it's going to get engagement and people comment and like and that sort of thing there. If I can get that from the start, the person joins my group, I give them a freebie, they make a post in the Facebook group and they get a heap of positive comments. Oh, welcome to the group. Oh, that's awesome. Hey, can you give me this help with SEO? Oh, whatever it is. You're now a solid member of that group. You're staying in there, you're posting again. The algorithm's going to work in my favor, because if you've posted once and people have liked and commented and you've replied, you're going to see the other posts that I do in there, yada, yada, yada. All right. If you want a more passive strategy, every single one of my courses and my lead magnets has an action task that involves you posting in the Facebook group. Let's say Isabel does my course on how to create your first online course. The first action task in there says something like, hey, we've got a Facebook group with 5,000 people. Make a post in that Facebook group and ask the group, what's your number one tip for a new course creator, right? So that person's doing the course, they go in the Facebook group, they make that post. I've crafted it as well, so I know that it's going to be super engaging. Heaps of people leave comments. Oh, I would do this. I learned this. I recommend this. That person that made the post is like, that's sick. I just got this free course and I got some tips from Jono, but I've made a post in this Facebook group and I got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 new tips as well. Now that person's part of the community. They're like, man, if I ever need anything with online courses or Facebook groups, I'm going to post in this group here. This is sick. This is better than Google. It's better than YouTube. So, and then that one's passive. So people are getting my email or getting my free mini course. They're paying for my courses and they're going through and they're posting in the group. So I got about 9 different strategies like that going on, where if you didn't know, you would just go in the Facebook group and be like, this group's sick. How is everyone posting and commenting? But now that you know some of the behind the scenes stuff, well, every new member's getting a thing. Every person that's doing a lead mag that is posting, every person in the course is posting. There's a whole heap of those things going on that gets the ball rolling initially. And then it just becomes part of the culture, right? That person's going to post again. They're seeing it. Other people are seeing the posts, and it just becomes easier from there.
Oh, yeah. Wow. So usually people would just send a welcome post, right, to list all the new members and to get them to introduce themselves in the thread. But you go one step further and you send them a DM and encourage them to participate in the group thread. I love that. That's really cool.
I'll go deeper with that as well. So it's kind of like whenever I join a group and I get that welcome, I don't even read that welcome.
Yeah, I don't read. I don't even comment.
Yeah, I'm not introducing myself in that, right? And it looks like the person's just doing it for engagement. Screw you. Get your own engagement. But see how the way I do it, I'm leading with a freebie. Hey, welcome to the group. I got this free thing. Do you want it? Right now, you're almost in the reciprocity mode. You're like, oh, he gave me this free thing. Yeah, I'll talk to this guy. And then also the message that I ask him to do, I make sure it's a win for that person. Right?
Yeah.
Hey, Isabel, make a post, introduce yourself. You may even pick up a client or two. It's not for my benefit. You might pick up a client or two. Let's say it's a new person. I might ask them, you're a new course creator. Hey, what I recommend, make a post in the group. Ask everyone what their number one tip is. Let me know once you've posted, and I'll share what my number one tip is as well. Now, it's not you posting for me. It's you posting because it's going to be a win for you.
Oh, yeah, I like that. I was going to say, your group is really generous. Everyone's really giving and the comments are exploding. That's what I really love about reading through your Facebook group as well. Okay, what if someone just started out and they are following these strategies, but because no one has really introduced themselves in the group, they're afraid of being the first? Or how do you deal with someone that is afraid of putting themselves out there, like, being in the limelight?
Gotcha. So I'll give a couple suggestions there. Before I do that though, I might ask that question to you, Isabel, right? Let's go the other way. Let's say you've joined my Facebook group and I've said, great, Isabel, welcome to the group. Hey, feel free to make a post yourself and plug your services. You might get a client or two. Would you post?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I might benefit from getting a new client.
Yeah, so that's my first thing. I would look at it and I'm like, well, I guess the thing is make it a win for them. If you're not posting, what have I done wrong? Why would you not want free marketing or whatever it may be? But in saying that, there still might be some people that, I don't know, whatever, they can't do it. I even recommend some plants, right? Plant 5 of your friends in the group, right? Hey, Isabella, you don't mind if you do a post, just introduce, like say we're already friends now, right? We're friends, Isabella, you don't mind if you do a post in the Facebook group introducing yourself, do you? If you're my friend, you won't care. The next day, I'll ask a different one of my friends, hey, you don't mind doing this sort of post here, do you? So now you're not the first person. Every day, this week, every day there's been a new person that has posted in the Facebook group. The members don't know that they're a friend of mine and I asked them to do it and they did it out of the goodness of their heart, So now you're not the first person anymore. Now there's 5 people that whatever there.
Yeah, I like your strategy of really going personal. But see, on the flip side, what if someone's all about, like, they are going into the group just to do self-promotion? How do you regulate that? How do you moderate that?
Oh, easy. There's a button called block. and
Spam.
remove them.
Okay.
I
Do you
just do
give
that.
second chances at all, or like
Oh,
it's just
look,
a one click?
no, it depends, to be honest. So the rule in my group is you need to clear with admin first, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I sort of look at the post and the person, and if it looks like an honest mistake, I'll just remove the
Yeah.
post and
Yeah.
select the message you need to check with admin first. If it's
Mm-hmm.
just something looks like a straight up promo, and I can tell, man, this person's just, no consideration, because some of them are like, hey, people, I've just created this free course. I'd love for all of you to have a copy. Here you go. It's kind of all right. I'm not going to ban
Yeah.
you for that, but I'm going to remove the post and say, hey, you should have checked with me first, But if someone
Mm-hmm.
just goes on there and is like, hey, I've got this course that's a direct competitor to Jono's one. Click here and buy it. See you later.
Ooh.
Bye. You know?
Yeah.
So I don't have a hard and fast rule, but I've got
Mm-hmm.
no dramas with just removing
That's good.
someone. Yeah, I got no dramas with removing someone. I got no problem with it. I don't really. It's
Yeah.
like, it's not a democracy. It's my group, So
Yeah. Cool.
yeah.
Yeah. Nice. I like that we've covered kind of the gist of like creating and managing and getting people to engage. And now we're on to our last golden question. How would having a Facebook group allow the owner of the Facebook group to make money through having this group?
Yes. Okay. So I specifically work with online courses. So coaching is similar as well. So I'll speak more to that side of things there. I'll share the strategies. It's just I don't know about like e-commerce and local businesses and that sort of thing, right? But if you've got a digital product, it's super easy because it's just getting you leads on taps. It leads on tap because you're getting people who have, like, there's no better lead, right? They've typed the name into Facebook. They've found the group. They've clicked on the group. They've requested to join. They've answered a few personal questions, maybe even given me their email. Like, there's no hotter lead. Or it's someone that Facebook has specifically showed my group to and said, join this group here. So the challenge is, okay, how do we get this person from a member to a paying customer, right?
From semi-warm lead to a hot lead.
Yeah, well, yeah, or even just from a cold lead to a sale, right? There's strategies along the way. What I'll share here is like from a cold lead to a sale, because the Facebook group is almost a sales process in its own. That should be how you're warming people up, but it's like, how do we get them over, right? Now, I use a few different strategies. I use 3. So I use either a phone call, I use a webinar, or I use email marketing. Okay. Let's run through the most passive to the most active, right? Let's start with email marketing. My goal is that every person on my Facebook group, I also want their email address. And then I sell via email marketing, which I'm sure most people listening to this will be somewhat familiar with email marketing. And we don't have the time to go into email marketing, but for now, know that email marketing works. You can use your Facebook group to get people on your email list and then sell via your email list, right? The ways you do that, one of your welcome questions should be asking people for their email, but be strategic. Don't just say, hey, what's your email? Or don't say, hey, I got a newsletter if you want tips. It's giving away your best freebie. Hey, do you want a free copy of insert my best freebie? Drop your email below and I'll send it over to you. Okay. Also, the welcome post as well. I know we kind of criticized it before, but it's not a bad tool. I still use it. It's one of my tools because someone might not check the message, or whatever it may be. So in the welcome post, hey, let's welcome all the new members, tag them all. Hey, you guys get a free copy of this. Comment below if you want it. To get that free thing, they obviously need to enter in their email. Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to go back to your first way of introducing your lead magnet. Is that through the questions that you have to fill in before you get accepted?
Yeah.
Cool. I know there is an app that you connect those emails that you fill in on the Facebook group to directly into your email service provider. Do you have any recommendations on how to automate that?
I use my virtual assistant and she does that for me because I want to have half a look at the people, I want to just make sure they're the people that are in there. And also price-wise, there's not much difference. It's kind of like it'll take my virtual assistant a few minutes to do it. And yeah, I pay her, but I have to pay for the software anyway. So I personally don't.
Okay, cool. So those that have submitted, you would go through each one of them before you accept them?
Yeah. Oh, my virtual assistant does. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Go ahead.
So the welcome post. And also I'll throw little leads out here and there. Who wants this 3 thing here? Comment below if you want it. But to get it, you got to give me your email. So I'm constantly using that and then selling via email. Okay. That's one strategy. Also via webinar. Okay. Because not everyone is going to give you their email. Not everyone's going to open. Some people are going to unsubscribe. Some people aren't going to buy. So another thing I do is a webinar. So if I've got a course or a program I want to sell, hey guys, I'm doing this free webinar, and I promote that webinar in my Facebook group and my email list as well, obviously. right? And then I give some content on the webinar, obviously, and then I sell at the end of the webinar, the online course.
And this is going to be a live webinar?
I like live. Yeah.
Live.
You can obviously do, and I use elements of automated stuff as well, but I find for sales, live is better. And with both of those, you're getting hot people. More the webinar is hotter because a lot of people, they'll give you their email just because they want the freebie. So it's not bad. You'll build your email list, but a lot of people just want the freebie. If you've attended the webinar, yeah, maybe you just want free info, but you've got more of a buy-in as well because you've also given me your time. Not only have you given me your email, you've given me your time as well.
Do you have like an estimated length of duration when it comes to creating this webinar? Like, for example, if you create so many courses, then you have to create so many webinars. Usually, how long does it take for you to create and prepare a webinar to sell the course?
That's a good question. So all up, like I spread it over a month. It doesn't take me a full month, but I just like that process because I've got a process where it's like, okay, so now I've got an idea of what I want that webinar to be. And I always run the webinar at the end of the month. So at the start of the month, I know what I'm doing. I kind of got my brain ticking then. I'm like, okay, at the end of the month, I'm going to be doing this and you're a bit more open to things. You know, I might attend a webinar. Oh, I like how they did that. You know, I might see a sale. Oh, I'm a bit more open if I know I'm going to do it. Right. But I kind of just work through it. So I'm like, first thing I need to put together is the opt-in page. Week 1, all I got to do is an opt-in page. Sweet. Okay. The next thing the next week, I'm like, okay, well, I got to put together the sales page for the thing I'm actually selling if I don't already have it. Okay. That's my goal for that week there. The week after that, now I'm going to be running the webinar the week after. So let me actually put this webinar together. It's not going to be perfect, but let me just fiddle with it throughout the week, you know, get an idea of what I'm going to say. So by the end of that week, I've got like a good draft copy, right? And then the week of the actual webinar, that's when I go every day. I have a look at it and I finalize it there. So it is about a month's process to do it, but it's not an in-depth month. Like I could do it in a day if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I find it's less stressful and better experience if I just spread it over a month.
And you don't really have a hard and fast rule on how long each webinar will last?
Oh, it's about 45 minutes of actual content. And then I just sell for as long as I can at the end of it until people buy or leave, essentially.
Cool. Yeah, awesome. I like this webinar idea. And your last tip would be personal phone calls.
Yep, exactly. So, and they'll be even hotter still, right? Because it's like, if you're attending a webinar, you're giving me your time, you're pretty hot as well. But if you're getting one-on-one with a consult with me, you know, in the back of your mind, I'm probably going to sell you something, give you an offer at the end of it. And also it's more personal. So, and then that's probably the best advantage of a Facebook group is it's just the easiest way to get on consults. Because let's go back to when we were speaking about previously, every new member I DM and say, hey, do you want this free thing? You know, hey, introduce yourself. I also try and get them on a sales call. I've got a bit of a process I go through because I don't just want them to have a free thing and make a post in the group. I do want them to buy my course as well, right? I'm not pushy or anything like that. But every new member gives me that opportunity to have a conversation with them. And I simply ask. And so you've got this online course in SEO, Isabel. Awesome. Hey, Isabella, I do this online course thing like all day, every day. I can give you some tips if you like. Oh, that'd be great, Jono. Sweet. Hey, instead of going back and forth and messaging, you want to just book a 15-minute Zoom call and I'll give you some tips on that? Bang, there you go. Right? Do the 15-minute Zoom call. Everyone's got their different kind of sales strategies, whether you sell on that call, whether you book another call, whatever. You know, it's up to you, but it's just at least getting you in the game of getting on phone calls there, right? Along with the new member, those lead magnets that I was talking about. It's just the easiest way to book call. There's no easier way, in my opinion, to book a call than a Facebook group and those two strategies, the new member. And even with the new member, even if they don't buy, because they've just heard of you the first time, right? Most new members probably won't buy, but you're at least setting yourself up in a good position. If you've had that initial 15-minute conversation, even if they haven't bought then, they're more likely to buy when they get your email. They're more likely to buy if they're on the webinar because there's less warming up and getting to know. They already know you now, you know?
Yeah, you formed the relationship, you have established your own authority. And so the next step is just for them to purchase.
Exactly. You know, the goal is obviously to sell on that phone call. But if you don't, it's moving from a cold to a warm. If you can get to a hot and a sale, better. But if you can't, as long as you do these other things, if you just did that phone call and you weren't doing emails or you weren't doing webinars, well, you've wasted that phone call. But if you do that phone call, even if they don't purchase there, as long as you're still sending your emails and doing your webinars, it still wasn't a waste of your time.
I like that. I love those tips. Thank you very much. You've given us a really great overview, and I'm sure everyone will be convinced to go start their own Facebook group now. Do you have any last tips on creating, engaging a Facebook groups, or you can share more about where people can find you if they want to learn more about really having a successful Facebook group?
Yes. So best thing I would recommend is just join my Facebook group, Course Creator Community, because you can see my sales process in the work. You know, you'll get the DM, you'll see what I say, you'll get the freebie, you'll see the funnel, you'll see all that there. But you'll also see how I run the group. And instead of, you know, me just telling you, hey, here's how you do it, watch what I actually do.
Yep. Awesome. Awesome. And you're in our group. So if there's any questions that anyone has after watching this replay, maybe they can always, I'll direct those questions to you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Easy.
Yeah.
Just tag me if someone's watching or add me as a friend.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time. And I'll speak to you soon.